Hey everybody, welcome back to Art Supply Guide. This is Bree Tobias and I'm your host. Today I'm going to do a product review and demonstration with Prismacolor Watercolor Pencils. I traditionally use just watercolor paints, but I've done a few projects with the pencils before, and the pigments of the Prismacolor Watercolor Pencils are very strong pigments and they show up very well. So I'm going to just do a couple of techniques that I've picked up along the way using those pencils to show you how you can incorporate those into your art. Okay, here is the finished watercolor pencil drawing that I did of a rose. And the colors that I picked out are much lighter than some of the other watercolor pencils that I have in my collection. So I have very pale, soft colors, and in order to make the rose stand out on the paper, I went around it with a Copenhagen blue and kind of feathered it outwards so it kind of helped frame in the pale colors and help them stand out off of the white paper. And then I have a few other samples. I don't usually show some of my samples, but I wanted to play around with the pencils just to try to get an idea on how to use them. So I did a very, very simple landscape scene, and I did a sky variation, fading from like a purple into a light blue into a yellow, and added in a mountain range with a line of trees, and then down below I had very faint and subtle reflections of the trees from behind down into like a water area. And it's not quite complete yet. I still need to add, as I notice now, the mountain range is not reflective in that water, so I can always go back and add that later. This one is more fun. It's a bit messy, but I started here with these examples of some kind of still life items, and I picked a cherry, and then underneath it just a flower, and I really made the flower up out of my head, so it probably isn't as realistic as it could have been. I didn't have anything to go by, I just kind of made it up. Just wanted to kind of see how much control I had with working in a small tight area and minimal bleed. And then moving on over here, this is fun. This is a rainbow design that I drew with the pencils, and then I came back over it with actually a flat brush like this, and I slowly worked those areas to about here, and then after that I actually turned the paper upright, got it wet, and then tapped to get this drip effect. And I'm very partial to splatter drip watercolor techniques, and I really enjoy a lot of bright colors in my work, so I was testing out some rainbow techniques for a future project. And then here it's very light and not very proportionate, but I was trying to see how pale I could get those colors, and I was just kind of playing around trying to do a kitten. And I'm very limited on my Prismacolor watercolor pencil set, so there's certain colors that I didn't have to work with, such as black. The darkest I have is a dark brown. I have a dark umber, and then I also have a pale gray pencil that is cool gray. So I didn't really have a black to work with, so I just kind of went back on top of the cat eyes just with the mechanical pencil. So, and I generally use a lot of ink in my work, so if this were something personal, I would actually do mixed media and add ink or ink wash or something like that to it. But just for the sake of doing a demonstration of Prismacolor watercolor pencils only, I didn't want to cross any other mediums into it because I'm trying to stay true to this product review. So I hope you like what you saw here, and just the examples again. With the Prismacolor watercolor pencils, you can get a very wide range of watercolor techniques with a pencil, and I would have to say that they probably would be great to travel with, to do journal sketching or quick mapping out of landscape paintings, or just studies, you know, out in nature. I would highly recommend getting some. Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you again for checking out my video. And if you like the video here on Art Supply Guide, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And you can always subscribe to the channel. That way you are going to be kept up to date on all the other future videos that I put out here on Art Supply Guide. I generally post about 3 videos a week, so that's an awful lot of art content that you don't want to miss. Alright guys, thanks again for joining me, and don't forget to visit my website, artsupplyguide.com, and check out all the other content that I have there. And I also have a lot of really amazing podcast interviews with a lot of great artists and art businesses that you don't want to miss out on. So go ahead on over to the website and check out that too. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.